he said that leave good books lying around the house and teach the child to read. The child will take care of its own education.
Wow.
It's too much. That is too far, going too far, but still, there's a point there. I learned most of the things I learned when I read freely, not because the school told me to read, but because I read by myself. Those are the things which I really learned. Tell me when it starts.
Gamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya om shanti shanti shanti.
Maharaj, I'm going to make an announcement. Please
Yes.
switch off your cell phones.
Yes, or even if it's in the bag or something. Not even vibration mode. Keep it silent.
Yes.
Or switch off. In aeroplane they say airplane mode.
Airplane mode.
Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryatrah Sthirairangairdushtvagam Sastanubhi Vyasheva Devanitanyadayu Swasti na Indro Vriddhasava Swasti na Pushna Vishwaveda Swasti na Starshyo Arishtani Swasti no Brihaspati Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The reason I did that was, actually that is the Shanti mantra that should accompany Mandukya Upanishad because it is from Atharva Veda. So at least once we should do that. See, the greatness of Vedanta, Advaita, is God, Brahman, Atman, Turiyam, whatever you call it, the ultimate reality. It wants to point out that reality here and now. Our general idea about God realization, spirituality is that something new will pop out. I will realize something new. Some God will descend from the heavens, or in my meditation I will see a new vision. Something I am not seeing now. Something other than all of this. This I know what is there. Something fantastic other than all of this, then I have got God realization. That's not impossible, that can happen also. That is in dualistic, theistic worship, you have experience of God. Mirabai had vision of Krishna, Ramakrishna had vision of Kali, and so on. You have, it is possible, entirely these things happen. But the question remains is, then what about all this? All these names and forms, this samsara which we are in, apart from this, if you have realized a God, if you have seen God, you believe in God, apart from all of this, then what about all this? Then this will still remain. And how will it remain? As it is. Now it is giving you sukha dukkha, after that also it will continue giving you sukha dukkha. You will have a new source of joy called God, which you have discovered. But the rest of it will continue to give you sukha dukkha, as usual. Unless you have Brahma Buddhi in this samsara, in this world, unless you see everything inside and outside as one reality, what you may call God or Atman or Brahman, whatever, until that point, final realization is not done, it's not over yet. Until you do that, this world is still left over, body is there, life is there, problems are still there. You may have a fine new thing in your life called God, but otherwise this thing remains. One Buddhist writer, he wrote a book, After the Ecstasy, the Laundry. After Vedanta class also laundry is there, dishwashing is there, laundry is there. Which means the rest of life, unless one spiritualizes the whole of life, it is not a solution. What Vedanta does is it spiritualizes whole of life. That's what we shall see now. Where will you find Brahman? Here in this waking, in your dream, in deep sleep, everywhere is the same one reality. That is what we will find here and now. You see, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, for this do you have to do any sadhana? For Savikalpa Samadhi, for darshan of Krishna or Kali, do you have to do sadhana? Of course. Of course. Not few years, life after life. But for waking, dreaming, deep sleep, do you have to do any sadhana? Or is it naturally there for everybody? It's naturally there for everybody. We all have these experiences and every day continuously available to us. Right now we are in waking. In this waking itself, can we find God? In this one. The journey in Vedanta is not a journey in space. You will go from here to a place called heaven. There you will find God. Journey in space. So why is God not here? Because God is in heaven. So we cannot see. You have to go there. Maybe after death or somehow. In Hindu mythology there are these divine chariots will come down and take you to Vaikuntha or Kailash or something like that. The conception of same theistic conception of heaven is there. In Christianity, Islam and the theistic portions of Hinduism, it's there. Is it true or not? Yes, yes. Depends on belief, but yes, I believe also. It's true, it's possible. It is there. Not only possible, I'm saying like as if it's a question mark. I firmly believe such things are there. You can actually exist in the presence of God, and it's fantastic. There's no doubt about it. But that's not the subject matter of Vedanta. That's a place, different place, spiritual place, fine place. Journey in space. There's a journey in time. Now you don't have God. Now you are not enlightened. Now you have not got God realization. Afterwards means, say, after death you will find God. Not now. You live your life according to the teachings of your religion, and then after death you will find. After is a time word. Before, after. Space word is here, there. Here, this world, there, heaven. After, now is life. After death, you will find God. That is a journey in time. You have to wait. For journey in time, for journey in space, you have to go. Journey in time, you have to wait. And of course, live your life as a holy person, good person. So these are journeys in time and space. Vedanta is not a journey in time and space. Vedanta says, Brahman is where? Which space? Every space. If Brahman is everywhere, is he here? Is Brahman here? The ultimate reality, is it here? Here also. At what time will you get Brahman? Anytime. All times. This time now? Yes, now. So here and now. And which one is Brahman? In theistic religion, God is something separate from you. In dualistic approach. So that one is God. I am a miserable creature, that one is God. But in Vedanta, which one is Brahman? Everyone. So where will you find Brahman? Everywhere and here. When will you find Brahman? All the time and now. And where will you, in which entity, which object will you find Brahman? In yourself, in everything, but in yourself, Atman. We read, Soyam Atma, Chatushpad, Ayam Atma Brahma. This very self is that ultimate reality. So the journey is not in time, space. The journey is not from one object to another object. The journey is then what? In Vedanta, what is the journey? The journey is from ignorance to knowledge. From ajnana to jnana. Something is there, we have to get it. Only thing is that getting it is not just reading a book, not even just understanding it, but making it living reality. Just as this waking state right now, is it a theory or is it living reality for us? This one?
Living reality.
As much as this and more than this, Brahman or Turiya will be a reality for us. It is, we are not seeing it now, that's all. So now how to find Brahman here and now? That is Mandukya Upanishad. A funny story I read about Raman Maharshi. I'd heard it, I thought it was real or not, then a devotee confirmed that he was actually there in the life of Raman Maharshi. You know, he was a great non-dualist. He lived in Arunachala in the hill there,
Yes.
the cave. Now one devotee was there who did not like all this Advaita, who am I? Because he would always say, who am I? He would not have long classes like this. Anything you ask, he would say, find out who is asking. So who am I? He pushed the question back on you. But one was a devotee of Narayana, of Lord Narayana Vishnu, and he did not like this who am I approach. So he went to the Maharshi and asked, Sir, is it okay if I am devoted to Narayana? He said, yes. It's alright, yes, it's alright. Then after death, will I go to Vaikuntha? Yes, you will go. I will go to Vaikuntha, yes. And in Vaikuntha, will I see Narayana? Yes, you will see Narayana. Oh, I will see Narayana. Yes, you will see Narayana. And will Narayana see me? Yes, he will see me. Oh, Narayana will see me. Oh, wonderful. What will he say to me? What will he say to me? So Narayana will say, find out who I am. Find out who I am. That is the Advaita approach. Ultimately, the self, what is right here, you have to discover that. The one who is searching for religion, one who wants to overcome sorrow, one who wants to find peace, who is that one? What is that one? We really don't know. We think we know. But really we don't know. If you investigate, you will get confused. That is a good confusion. Now we are sure, I am this, look at my driver's license, it says. But when I investigate, which one am I? The body, the mind? Then the confusion starts, and it's a good confusion because it leads to a question about inquiry into oneself. Mandukya Upanishad inquiry is inquiry into oneself. Yourself, you have four aspects. Chatushpad Atma. Atma has four. Atma means you. Has four aspects. What are your four aspects? Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and the reality, the fourth one. Literally in Sanskrit, it is called Turiya and means fourth. The fourth one, Turiya, Brahman, Atman, that one we have to point out. First three are known to us. Now he is describing the first three so that we can take the final jump and realize our final intuitive understanding of the underlying reality. Remember always, when we study this, very helpful to remember the gold and ornaments example. Gold like Turiya and ornaments, necklace, bracelet, ring, like waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Underneath, always it is Turiya only. Alright. With this, let us start. Mantra number 3. I will chant and repeat after me. Jagarita sthano Bahish pragyaha Saptanga Ekonavingshati mukhaha Sthula bhuk Vaishwanaraha Prathama padaha. Prathama pada, the first aspect. The first aspect. First aspect of what? Of yourself. Of myself. Of ourselves. What is the first aspect? Is Jagarita Sthana. Waking state. The one who is in the waking state. Jagarita Sthana does not, Sthana means place. Here Jagarita Sthana means the one who is in the waking place. What is the waking state? This one. The one who is here. Who is that one? You. The one who is feeling, I am here now, right now. I am awake. If you are awake, it is talking about you. Jagarita Sthana. Bahish Pragya. Here awareness is channelized outwards. Saptanga. We have here that you, that consciousness has 7 parts. We talk about the physical body, 7 parts. Ekonavingshati mukhaha. 19 mouths. 19 mouths. We'll see what is 19 mouths. And with those 19 mouths, what does it do? Sthula bhuk. It experiences gross or physical nature. What it experiences, we will see. What does it do? It experiences gross enjoyment or gross experiences. Gross not in the American sense of terrible or messy or horrible. It just means physical. Physical. Sthula bhuk. And what is the name? Vaishwanaraha. Whose name? Your name. This is called Prathama Pada, the first aspect of the self. What has it said? Basically what it's saying is that in the waking state, I, that Turiya, that consciousness, it becomes externalized, becomes identified with one body. It becomes identified with each body separately and thinks of itself as a separate being. One mind, one body, and uses the sense organs to experience the physical universe and thus conducts its life. This individual being is called, here Vaishwanara, but I will give you more details. Now at this stage, each of us, we are called, our name will be Vishwa. Vishwa. The individual sentient being in the waking state is called Vishwa. Vishwa is not in the Hindi sense of word. Vishwa here means individual sentient being. You, I, each of us is one Vishwa. We have got separate names, Sarvapriyananda, Ram, Shyam, Madhu, but all of us, general name is Vishwa. Like human being. Like so here the name is Vishwa. Who is Vishwa? Consciousness in the waking state, externalized through one body, and experiencing the physical world is called Vishwa. Now, the uniqueness of Advaita is, you asked about individual and totality. The uniqueness of Advaita, of Mandukya is, from the very beginning, it goes to individual and totality, macrocosm and microcosm, individual being and totality. So from the first step itself it goes. You see, knowing that you are the consciousness in this body mind, the witness consciousness in body mind, it's not difficult. I am not the body, not the mind. Come, sit. There's this space here. Go right in. Yes. Knowing that you are the witness consciousness, not difficult. How? Just see. 2-3 steps, at least understanding this is very easy. Actually feeling it is difficult, but actually understanding is very easy. Have you heard some of my talks on Drishya Viveka? You will see. I am the knower of this world. I see. I am the knower of this world sounds like a grand statement. It simply means something as simple as I see this book. What I know and I, the knower and the known are separate. Clearly, I am separate from the book. Knower and the known are separate. Clearly I am separate from the book. The seer and the seen are separate. But it's done. I am the knower of everything. Therefore I am separate from everything. Knower and known are separate. So whatever you know, you are separate from. Look at the body. Do you know the body? Yes. You can see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. It's here. Then it is known. And I, the conscious knower of the body, must be separate from the body. Mind, do I know it? Yes, when you look inside, happy, sad. In Denver, there were a couple of teenagers, they were singing a song. Happy Lama, sad Lama. Have you heard it?
No.
You have not heard, but the kids have heard it. So it was very funny. Happy Lama, sad Lama, mentally disturbed Lama. So I was thinking Lama means like a Buddhist monk or the South American that like a camel.
Camel.
So I searched on the net. It's actually that South American camel. So mentally disturbed Lama. But whether I'm mentally happy, sad or disturbed even, I know it. I experience it. If I experience it, I'm different from it.
That's true.
Once, it's an interesting story. Somebody asked me that people who are severely mentally disturbed, schizophrenic, paranoid, some kind of mental trauma, can they be helped by Vedanta? Because Vedanta generally asks for very high qualifications. If I am like totally devastated and helpless and lost, difficult to catch on to Vedanta. Vedanta will first say you have to have your act together. You have to be at the very least pretty well, you got your act together, and then Vedanta will begin to help. Entry condition very high. Ivy League. This is Ivy League spirituality. But can it help? Somebody was devastated. And there was, I read an incident. There was a teacher, Vedanta teacher, Atmananda Menon, Mr. Menon, he was there in Kerala. many years ago, 1950s. And I read one incident. He was an enlightened person. Somebody brought a mentally disturbed, not lama, mentally disturbed person to him and said, "Can you help him?" He said, "What can I do? You have to go to the doctor." And in those days, nowadays a lot of good medicines are available. Those days it was not available. He said, "No, you have to do something." Now, how can he use Advaita to cure? He said to that person, luckily at that time the person was lucid, those things which happen in your mind, the voices you hear, the storms in your mind, all that upset, pain and fear and trauma, is it there? He says, yes, it is there. Do you experience it? Of course I experience it. I feel it. If you feel it, then it is an object, you are different from it. You are the experiencer, it is the experienced, as different as the eye is from the book which it sees. It is different from you. That much only you know. When it is not there, you are watching the absence of the mental disturbance. When the mental disturbance is there, you are watching the presence of the mental disturbance. In no case are you the mental disturbance. It has nothing to do with you. Just as the clouds have nothing to do with the sky. They come, they sail through and they disappear. And that man said, all right. And later they said he became much better. He applied it. If they said that all those disturbances will keep coming, they are produced by chemical imbalances in the brain. It will keep coming. But more and more see your detachment from it. So it's not difficult. I am the witness consciousness, Sakshi, of what? Of the world, of the body, of the breath, of the mind, senses, of the mind, of the intellect. I am the Sakshi, witness. Not difficult at all. But you know what will happen when you do that? The result will be, I am the Sakshi witness consciousness in this body and mind. Right? World is continuing as it is. Body is continuing, my life is continuing as it is, separate from me. And what about all the other people? Maybe they are also Sakshi, separate in each body. But what Mandukya does is, it starts with unity from the very beginning. You are the one witness consciousness which is now appearing in this body and mind as one vishwa, but also appearing as all other bodies and minds and all other vishwas. All of it is that one consciousness which you already are. So it starts, that question you had asked, that unity is established from the first step itself. In the other process, what you have to do is you have to discover yourself as the Sakshi and then do the what is called Tat Padartha Shodhana, that Brahman, the source of the universe, is none other than pure consciousness. So I am that pure consciousness Sakshi, Brahman is that pure consciousness, and hence Aham Brahmasmi. That kind of thing has to be done, which is done through the Mahavakya. But here from the very beginning, not only are you the consciousness in one body and mind, but that consciousness itself is in all bodies and minds. And in fact, the entire universe is appearing in that consciousness. Which universe? Waking universe. When consciousness is associated with one body and mind, it is called Vishwa. But there are so many bodies and minds. It's such a huge universe. Imagine now consciousness associated with all bodies and minds. Individually one. So each one will have an abhimana. I am this person. You have got that I am this person. Each has a body, a mind, a personality, history, biodata. But suppose there is a consciousness associated with all bodies and minds, with the entire waking universe. Suppose there is such a consciousness. And Vedanta says, yes, there is. That consciousness, that is what Vedanta, that cosmic consciousness that happens, identifying itself with the entire universe and saying, this is me, this is I. That one in Vedanta is called, in Mandukya it is called Virat. Virat. This is, Vishwa is the first aspect of the individual. Virat is the first aspect of God. Saguna Brahman. This is the Vedantic conception of God. What is the Vedantic conception of God? Consciousness. Which consciousness? You, just like we have. That consciousness associated with all bodies and minds in this entire waking universe. That is the first aspect of God. We have 4 aspects. God also has 4 aspects. The individual has 4 aspects. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, pure consciousness, turiya. God also has, on the cosmic level, also 4 aspects. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, There it will not be called waking, dreaming, deep sleep, it will be called gross aspect, subtle aspect, causal aspect. And beyond that, pure consciousness. As Turiya, you and God are the same. But the moment you come to waking state, there is a vast gulf between us and God. What is God? The totality. What is us? We. Vivekananda said, the only God I believe in is the sum total of all human souls, or all souls. That's the only God. So it's not a separate God you have to believe in. It's exactly what we are seeing in all beings. This is what Arjuna saw in Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter. Up to 10th chapter, Krishna had been saying, I am this, I am that, and I am avatar of Vishnu or Narayana. Arjuna believes, but say, I want to see. Now I am seeing you as a human being, Krishna, but I want to see you as God, your cosmic aspect. This one, Virat. And Krishna agrees. Arjuna asked for it. He regretted it very soon when he asked for it. When he got it, he was terrified. Krishna agreed, alright, I will show you. And 11th chapter is Vishwarupa Darshana. So what is called Vishwarupa in Bhagavad Gita, it's called Virat in Mandukya. Not in the Upanishad, in the Karika it will become Mandukya, Virat. In different Upanishads also it is there, Virat Purusha. Vishwarupa, Virat. When Arjuna saw that, the beautiful and awesome poetry, 11th chapter, as if 1,000 suns have risen in the sky together. Devi Sahasra Yuga Surya Uttita, that as if 1,000 suns light up the sky together. Imagine the radiance. Bha means radiance. Imagine the radiance. Don't imagine, you'll be knocked out if you try to imagine. And that is the radiance of this divine person. In fact, there is a story of how Oppenheimer, he quoted from the 11th chapter of the Gita, when he saw the explosion of the first atom bomb in Alamogordo. Alamogordo, yes. He saw that explosion. He was a Sanskrit scholar. I come, time, the destroyer of worlds. He quoted from the Gita, yes. But he was so awestruck by what he had created, this atom bomb. Oh no, why is it terrifying? Why did Arjuna become terrified? Just think. It is like we, as when people stare at you, one of the reasons why public speaking is difficult, people get scared in public speaking. Why? Because people are looking at you. Now in the animal kingdom, staring continuously is threatening. That is animal psychology. You see two animals when they are about to fight, dogs, they will look at each other and growl. If there's a dog lying down quietly and you go and stare at it like that, it will look at you. Then either it will get scared or it will get angry. It will growl or it will run away. Why? Because staring continuously. When we speak to each other, we don't stare at each other unless you're scolding somebody. So staring continuously is usually a sign of aggression. When we speak, we'll see, you look at and you look away and you look again, look away. You don't stare continuously. That seems to be unfriendly. Now imagine in public speaking what is happening. Poor speaker is standing and then 100 people are looking like this. Not to threaten you. They just want to know from you. But the animal brain reacts as if it's a threat. So fear is the reaction. That is the reason for public, the stage fright they call it. I may forget. People do forget. So when they're faced with. Now 100 people staring at you. Imagine if 1,000 people stare at you. What would you feel like? The biggest audience that I faced was 14,000.
Oh my God.
14,000. But even that was not scary enough. Then the most scary audience I faced was, there is in Belur Mutt, after every few years, the monks' conference is held. So the Swamis from all over the world, as many as can be spared, they come and they congregate in Belur Mutt. Mostly from India, but it's difficult to go from other parts of the world. And sometimes you're selected to give a short talk about some subject to the assembled monks. Usually they're senior Swamis who give the talks. But I was a newly minted sadhu. Just 1 year after getting my sannyasa, I think 2005 it was. In 2004 I got sannyasa. And in 2005, And the revered General Secretary was there. My name was given as one of the people whom we were taught. I was such a new Swami. And it was the first time I was attending. Only monks are allowed to attend these conferences, not even the novices. So when I stood up in front of the gathered monks, 500 Swamis. 99% of them are senior to me. All looking at me like this. So that was the scariest thing actually. So that's scary. But imagine now, not 100%, not 1000%, not 14,000 persons. Imagine if 7 billion people in this world, not only 7 billion people, every creature from dolphins and whales to little lizards and cats and dogs, all these trillions of living beings, all together at once, they turn and look at you. How will you feel? Okay. So when the tremendous universal form was presented before Arjuna, and then that universal form turned and looked at Arjuna, how will he feel? We experience, one of the Tikakaras, he says, we experience this world in slices. Little bit of time, here it's a slice. Few people at some time. When you go out into the freeway, you will experience another slice. Like this throughout our life, we are experiencing in slices. But suppose all the experience is packed into one moment. How overwhelming it will be. So that is Vishwarupa Darshana. That is the Virat. So here in Mandukya it says, individual being in the waking state, Vishwa. Same consciousness associated with all beings and saying I, that is Virat. So this one has 7 parts, Saptanga, 7 limbs. What are the 7 limbs? Here it is actually a quotation from Mandukya Upanishad. The 7 limbs are the head, Murdha. The head is the sky, space is the head. And the sun and the moon are the eyes. That's the second limb. Then the air is the breath, or the lungs, or the breath. The air which moves through. And the intermediate sky from here to the outer atmosphere through which the air moves, that is the trunk, the chest, this portion, middle portion of the body. And the oceans are the lower portion, the kidneys, bladders and stomach, that is the portion of the Virat. And the earth, the physical earth, the feet. So this is a description given in Mandukya Upanishad. It's just a description. Basically consciousness associated with the universe, not only the earth but the entire universe. That is Virat. Virat literally means vast. There's a big difference between these two consciousnesses. Which two consciousnesses? Actually it's the same consciousness but it appears to be different. It's like here you have got basement space, dining room space, bedroom space, washroom space, living room space. How are these spaces created? Actually it is the same space. It's been partitioned off. Now it seems different, right? But if you remove these walls, before the house came up, it was one undivided space. Now it is still one undivided space, but it looks different. This is basement, that is dining room. It looks different, it feels different. Similarly, one consciousness associated with many bodies seems to be different. In the Gita it is said, Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam. It is different in all beings and it is non-different in all beings. Undivided in all of us. Seems to be different. You are one person, he is one person, she is one person. Seems to be different. So that one consciousness in all is called Virat, individual consciousnesses. And these individual consciousnesses are called Jivas. Jivat. Another name is Vishwa. And these Vishwas have their own life. Because of each of us we have our own karma because of which we are born and we get many experiences. Virat, does it have its own karma? No. Virat is rather the giver of karma. Virat is the controller of the entire game. And we are the playmates. If we knew ourselves as playmates, no problem. But we don't know. That's why it becomes such a serious problem. So we are none other than Virat. Remember Alan Watts' story? God pretending to be not God to play with. Needed playmates to play with. Children, like children play. So Virat is God. And we are also the same consciousness. But now separated into Virat and Vishwa. Into the cosmos and into the individual. This is the waking state. Seven limbs. Then Eko Navinshati Mukhaha, 19 mouths. 19 mouths. What are the 19 mouths? 5 sense organs. Chakshu, ear, eyes. Karna, Shrotra, ears. Ghrana, that is nose, smell, sense of smell. Rasana, that is taste. And Twak, which is skin. So 5 sense organs. These are mouths. What do you experience with these mouths? We experience form, Rupa. We experience sound, Shabda. We experience smell. We experience taste. We experience touch. These are the things which we are eating with 5 mouths. And then 5 organs of action. Hands and feet and all the 5 organs of action. Tongue to speak, hands to grasp, speak, feet which walk, and then the 2 organs of evacuation and generation. So 5 organs of action. And each of them gives different experiences. Those experiences are also bhoga, stula, bhuk. Bhuk means experience, bhoga. Stula, gross, physical experience. And then pancha prana. Prana, life forces, they are divided into 5. Those who do puja, you know, prana, apana, dhyana, udana, samana. So they have all different functions. Assimilation of food, the circulatory system, bringing oxygen and expelling the air, and so on. And many functions are there. They are performed by the 5 pranas, pancha prana. That's also an experience. That's also stula bhuk. And then the mind itself, antakarana, inner instrument. 4 more functions are there. They are given 4 distinct names. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Mind, which thinks. Right now you are thinking. Buddhi, which grasps, understands, clarity, intellect. That's the second one. Chitta, memory, storehouse, memory. And ahankara, the ego, which says I am thinking, I am listening, I am remembering, I cannot remember. All of this is I. This is ego. That's a function of the mind also, antakarana. That's not you. It's a function of the mind. It's an app. In your smartphone, like an app. So, 4 functions of the mind, 5 pranas, how many? 9. 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs. Total? 19. These are 19 mouths. Eko navinshati mukha. And with that, what do we do? Sthula bhuk. Mainly it refers to the 5 form, sound, smell, touch, taste, which we get from the word. This one is called Vaishwanara, Vishwa, Virat, Vishwarupa, whatever you call it. This is the first aspect of the self. Now look, when he says first aspect of the self, I am reminding you again, he does not speak only of the individual self. He has already included the universe. Whole universe has been included. That's why when it will be completed and you reach Turiya, nothing more remains to be done, because you know you are the reality of the universe, not the reality of one body mind, but the reality of the entire universe. First aspect. After this, what happens? We fall asleep and we dream. That's the second aspect of our existence. Let us see. Sapnasthanam Antఃpragyam Saptangam Ekonavinshati Mukha Praviviktabhuk Taijaso Dvitiya Padaha. The dream state. And Swapnasthana means the one who has Swapna Avastha Abhimani. Who says, I am the one in the dream state. That person in whom you have generated in your mind. But later on you say that I was that in a dream state. At that time we don't say I am not in a dream state. So that consciousness which is associated with dream body and mind. Dream body and mind means not the one which is sleeping on the bed, the one which you are dreaming about. That one, in your dream, antah prajnaha, consciousness, your cognition is directed inwards, you lose touch with the body, you lose touch with the sensory system, and through the sensory system you are experiencing a gross world, a physical world, you lose touch of that, switched off. But what's going on? Internally, screensaver. So you are generating dream, like watching TV. So somebody said very nicely, so there's a man who opens the window of his house, and it is a shop counter. He trades with the world. He buys things, receives goods and sells goods. Sense organs, motor organs. Trades with the world. After some time, he pulls down the shutters, goes to his living room, switches on the TV and watches TV. Dream state. Same man. Then after some time he's tired, he switches off the TV, goes to his bedroom, that is Sushupti Sthana, and goes off to sleep. Same person. The trader, shopkeeper, who trades with the world. The one who watches TV watcher, and the one who goes to sleep. So the deep sleeper, TV watcher is dreamer, and the trader is the waker. Same person. It's the same consciousness. Now associated with dream, the equipment for dream. Swapna Sthana. Antaprajya, inward turned awareness. Saptanga Ekonavimshati Mukha. Same kind of equipment which you have in the external world, you have a representation of that in the mind also. Your body you don't get a new kind of body there. It's a same this kind of body only you get in your dream, with 7 limbs and 19 mouths. And what do you enjoy there? I enjoy the same thing. I eat pizza in the waking state. I also eat pizza in the dream state. No, that pizza is not a real pizza. Because then otherwise what will happen? When you wake up in the morning, you will find the refrigerator pizza is gone. What happened? I ate it in my dream. No, you did not eat the pizza of the waking state in the dream. So what happens in the waking state stays in the waking state. What happens in the dream state stays in the dream state. If you ate and had a nice supper before going to bed, you're full. In the dream, you're hungry again. And the food which is left over, that you cannot get in the dream. You have to go into the pizza shop and order out pizza in a dream only. So, Pravivikta book. Pravivikta internal. Book enjoyments. Whatever is generated by the mind subtle internally, those are the things experienced in dream. The Upanishad says, neither there is a chariot, nor is there a road, nor is there a house or a garden, and yet we see chariots, roads, houses and gardens in those days. Now you will see SUV and all. But it's not there. It's all imagined internally. That's a dream. And what is your name now? That consciousness associated with the dream body and mind and experiencing dream objects, the individual consciousness experiencing that in each dream, each of us, it will be called Taijasa. What is it called? Taijasa, literally meaning the fiery one. Why fiery? Because in dreams we have a wider degree of freedom. Many things which we cannot do or many things which cannot happen in the waking state, they happen in the dream state because we can imagine it. So a wider degree of freedom is there, fiery, it can generate. Taijasa. And there also one consciousness associated with, not with the physical bodies or physical universe, but associated with all our minds. Consciousness associated with all our minds. Consciousness associated with one mind there. If you forget the body, then that consciousness will be called Taijasa. If you remember, if you are connected with the body, that consciousness will be called Vishwa. But that consciousness associated with all our minds, suppose there is a consciousness which can access all our minds. So World Wide Web, like that. All minds, it's associated with all our knowledge, our thoughts, our desires and memories, everything is open to it, that consciousness. That one is called Hiranyagarbha. That Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha. That Taijasa is the second state, second aspect of myself, individual state, individual self. And Hiranyagarbha is the second aspect of God, of Saguna Brahman, of Ishvara, of Saguna Brahman, of God. In the cosmic level, Hiranyagarbha. That is called cosmic mind. Consciousness plus all our minds together. God alone in the subtle state. God alone in the gross state, associated with the entire universe, Virat. God alone associated with, in the subtle state, associated with all our minds, Hiranyagarbha. And then, so this is how it goes. and then dream fades away into deep sleep. Often we think that in deep sleep there is no consciousness, but actually in deep sleep consciousness is there is no object for consciousness to see. It's like if you have light and you shine it out into space in darkness. Suppose it's a clear sky, no fog, no clouds, nothing. Then you will not even see the beam of light. The light will go out into space, but you won't see the beam of light. Similarly, consciousness is like a dark space filled with light. I mean deep sleep. Deep sleep is like dark space filled with light. But you will not see anything. In space also, it seems black and dark, but actually it is full of sunlight. When a comet passes through it, you can see the tail of the comet shining in the sunlight. If a satellite passes, you can see it twinkling in the sunlight. So space is actually full of light. But there is nothing for it to reflect. When something is there, you will see it shining. Deep sleep is like that. There is no external world. You have no connection with the body there in deep sleep. Mind has shut down. So nothing. No world, no body, no senses, no mind or thoughts or ideas, nothing. Even the thought, I am sleeping, that requires the mind. Mind is not there. Mind is shut down. After all, who is going to sleep? Not Atma. It is mind and body which goes to sleep. Body goes into sleep.
Whereas in the deep sleep, how can we be sure that the experiencer is still there?
Instead of experiencer, let's call it the Sakshi. Experiencer, I'm objecting on a technical ground because experiencer requires instruments of experience. So consciousness plus mind plus sense organs plus body, then you are an experiencer. Or in your dreams, consciousness plus mind, then you are an experiencer of a dream. In deep sleep, it's only Sakshi Chaitanya experiencing a mass of ignorance or darkness. The entire world is pushed into a potential mass, an undifferentiated mass. How can we be sure if you say, is it not speculation? How can we be sure? We can be sure, there are many ways. After we wake up, we can't experience it there, we cannot say that we are experiencing it at that moment because you require the instruments. Instruments are not functioning. But consciousness is there. How do we know? When we wake up, the classic answer in Vedanta is when we wake up we say, I slept happily, sukham maham aswapsam, I did not know anything, nakinchida vedisham, I did not know anything. This itself is an experience. You see, it's like this. Your eyes are open now. You're seeing all this. Now close your eyes. Just now. Let me ask you. Now you're not seeing anything, but are your eyes functioning now?
Yes.
You don't seem confident.
Yes.
Yes. Open your eyes. Yes. It's just the eyelids which were closed and opened. Eyes themselves remained exactly the same. As they are functioning now, they were functioning at that time only. The eyelids just blocked out the light from the external world. Similarly, in deep sleep, according to Vedanta, what happens is, body goes to sleep. Senses are not operational. Mind stops thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, it stops. But consciousness in itself remains as it is, it's not affected by that. This cycle of waking, dreaming, deep sleep is a cycle of the mind. And the proof is that in modern neuroscience, it is closely connected with the brain. So brain, waking activity of the brain, REM sleep, dream sleep activity of the brain, and non-REM sleep, deep sleep activity of the brain, different. Modern neuroscientists have measured it, and they have shown that. And amazingly, just recently you will see, there was a rather striking paper, they gave importance to it on the internet news, that evidence of consciousness under anesthesia. Not only deep sleep, but under anesthesia, which is very deep, like coma or more. There also it is saying that there is consciousness there. And they are saying it from a purely materialist perspective, because the brain activity connected with consciousness goes on during deep sleep also, goes on during anesthesia also. So, nakinchid avedisham, I did not know anything. I also thought this, that in every culture in the world, you have such phrases. In English, you see, I slept like a log. Out like a light. Americanism is in American say, out like a light. Now what does this mean? Unless it was experienced in some way, why would you have something referring to it? You are referring to your own experience. I slept like a log. What is that experience? How did you know? How do you know that I slept like a log? If deep sleep was not experienced, then what would be our report after waking up? Our report would be, I was awake, I went to bed, I dreamt, now I am awake again. But that there is a period of nothingness, blankness, deep rest, I would not report it. Another possibility, somebody said, we infer it. I experienced waking, I experienced dream. In between there was a gap, I inferred that I was in deep sleep. But inference is a logical process. After waking up, do you do this? That I wake up. Now, what is the time? Okay, I went to sleep at 11. And then so many hours must have been dream. In between there is time gap is there. That must have been deep sleep. Hence, I was in deep sleep. We never do such a thing. I wake up and I remember dreams and I remember usually dreamless. Nothing. Blank. That is also an experience. So, Sushupti is an experience. I had an interesting experience in the Institute of Culture in Gol Park in Calcutta. There was a conference on neuroscience and spirituality, philosophy, on consciousness, conference on consciousness. This was more than 12 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever, around that time. And there was a neuroscientist and philosophers. They are not coming to a discussion, an agreement on the definition of consciousness. They still have not. So, now, the Sankhya philosopher, who is an American professor, Dr. Larson, he has written wonderful books on Sankhya philosophy. He asked the neuroscientist, but Professor, can you tell us, according to neuroscience, in deep sleep, is there consciousness or not? And the neuroscientist, now he has to say something different. At that time he said that no, according to the way we understand consciousness, there is no consciousness in deep sleep. In deep sleep, there is no consciousness. And the Sankhya philosopher said, that is the difference. Here we say, in deep sleep, there is only consciousness. No experience though. Experience in the sense, it's an experience of absence. No particular experience because there is no particular object to be experienced. So that's deep sleep. Let us see now what happens there. 5. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam sushuptasthana ekibhutah prajnanaghana eva anandamayo yanandabhuk cheto mukha prajna stritiya padaha. So this is Sushupti, third aspect. You think what was the first two aspects? Waking and dreaming. Deep sleep, third aspect. In waking, your name was Vishwa. Name of the totality was Virat. In dreaming, your name was Taijasa. Name of the totality was Hiranyagarbha. Deep sleep. For deep sleep, he gives 2 mantras, 5 and 6. What is deep sleep? First he defines. He did not define waking and dreaming. Why? Waking and dreaming are well known. In deep sleep, we have doubts. He asked questions. He did not ask any question in waking and dreaming. So deep sleep, he wants to define. What is deep sleep? He gives a negative definition. Where there is no contact with the external world. And where there are no dreams also. That is deep sleep. So he says, Yatra na kanchana kamam kamayate. Where we have no desire for external things. Seeing something, hearing something, tasting something, and all of that, no. And no, dreams are also going on. That is the, he says, Yatra Supta, and it's a state of sleep. State of sleep where we are not dreaming anything, we are not awake also. That state of sleep is called Tat Sushuptam. That is called deep sleep. Now remember, all of this is from a subjective point of view, from your experience, how you are experiencing it. Because I have to keep repeating this because our general training is, the way we are educated, is an objective way of looking at things. I remember one Swami was giving a lecture on Mandukya in Calcutta University. professors were there, So he said, in deep sleep there is no external world, no body, no mind. And one professor of physiology could not take it anymore. He stood up in indignation. He said, what do you mean there is no external? We see that no body, no mind. We see that fellow is lying on the bed and snoring. We are seeing it. What do you mean no body is there? You are seeing it objectively from outside. How is that person experiencing it? That is the Mandukya. Mandukya is taking you, what are we talking about? 4 aspects of the self, of yourself. What is your experience? Not what is somebody seeing your body from outside and measuring things. That is different thing. How are you experiencing it? The philosophical word for this is a phenomenological description. That's the word used in Western philosophy. Phenomenological description. How you experience the world, or the absence of the world in deep sleep. So that is called deep sleep. Tat sushuptam. What happens there? Sushuptasthana. The consciousness associated with the deep sleep state. What happens there? Eki bhutaha. What about the world? It is all mashed up into one indistinguishable mass of darkness. Plants, trees, animals, men, women, sky, earth, everything is covered by one mass of Eki bhuta. It is indistinguishable. This is, Gaudapada calls it Bijavastha, seed form. It is all there. It will come back when you wake up. You will have all these experiences again when you wake up or when you dream. But all those experiences, as it were pushed into a potential form. Bijavastha, seed form. Now what is a seed? In the seed, in one sense, the entire tree is there. But if you actually look at the seed, you will not find leaves, branches, fruits, trunk, roots, nothing. But everything is there in potential, in information. Now in modern biology, we all know that. That the DNA and RNA, do seeds have DNA, RNA? One type of. Anyway, the genetic code is definitely there. So it's all there. It's only expressed when it gets sunlight and air and soil and nutrients. It all comes out. But potential form, it's there, not distinguishable. Like in a tree, if you say, yeah, this is the leaf, this is the branch, this is the root. In the seed, you cannot say that. In deep sleep, you cannot distinguish people and ideas and thoughts, even personality. Everything is mashed up into one indistinguishable potential form. Notice one thing. We are all different. Bodies are different. Mind is different. Each person is different. We are all different. Right? Our waking experience is different. We have different waking experiences. Our dream experience is also different. But deep sleep experience? Exactly the same. We all have the same deep sleep experience. Because individualized experiences are not there. The deep sleep of an ant